It's a beautiful morning here in Lagos. We're broadcasting for and bid you welcome to another interesting edition of VOP this morning on Voice of the People Television. I am Thina Okechukwu, and on the show today we have quite interesting stories for us to analyze, and one of it is that some persons have come up to say that Atiku'S agenda actually is making Peter Gregory to look elsewhere as ADC rejects hijack plot of that particular party. Also on our radar, there's a pension protest yesterday in Abuja, and the IGP and CPS also have exited delays over the payment of the people who are protesting. I'm talking about, retired police personnel protesting unpaid pensions and every other, dividend that they're supposed to or entitled to receive at this point in time.
Oh, well, good morning and thanks for joining us. I am Chukwuma Okoro. Away from those, the Nigerian Labour Congress has slammed the government as workers demand the fulfillment of the promise made by the federal government regarding their wage award, which is still outstanding for some months now.
Oh, well, those are the conversations this morning. I am Moses Humphrey. Now, before we get into all of that, let's also chime in on a few things that Nigerians are talking about, a few things that trended yesterday. Well, the Plateau State government has requested the withdrawal of soldiers deployed to the state following the killing of 27 farmers in Bindi Jebu, Riyom local government area. They cited ineffectiveness in tackling the ongoing violence allegedly carried out by armed herders. Now, the government urged a mobile police squad who are better trained for asymmetrical warfare be deployed instead. Now, despite being under federal control, the state insists a change in security strategy is crucial to addressing the escalating crisis. Now, this points to a larger problem. We've been speaking about the possibility of state police. We've been speaking about the possibility of self-help. Now, self-help is on one side. I'll lump that and keep it aside for now. But this report, basically, Plateau State government relying on some sort of vigilante, group to protect them because the military has failed. It's concerning. I mean, if it's not concerning to you, then something must be wrong somewhere. What is the primary responsibility of the military? To protect the territorial integrity of a country. All right? Now, in a situation whereby they are not even protecting the territory of the country, they are protecting individuals in states, and they have failed in doing so, then we have a larger problem if, some sort of warfare breaks out. Because apparently, the argument is that they seem poorly trained and they've deployed poor tactics in dealing with insurgents. These insurgents have been embedded, of course. And also, there is the argument around some members of the insurgent groups embedded within the military in the name of rehabilitation and reintegration into society. So we have seen a situation where we've seen a situation where attacks are carried out by these headsmen, and most of it carried out very close to military checkpoints. And then you start to wonder, is there some sort of collaboration? Or is this an issue of, throwing their eyes away, trying to not be concerned when they are not called directly into it? So, but the people are now gradually resorting to self-help. But it's a good thing that the state is picking this up, because if it gets to where individuals will now come together and say, okay, let us defend our own street or our own community, then chaos will be inevitable. But it speaks to a larger problem. And if the service chiefs and the government, the federal government now, know what they are doing, they should find a way to rejig the military in Nigeria, train them better, empower them. We also have a problem because some military officers, even those that are trained, would not want to lay their lives down because they know that it's a lose-lose for them. So they would rather preserve their lives than try to do what they swore to do in the first instance, which of course is protect lives and property. It's a troubling time for Nigeria, if you ask me.
Interesting time, actually, also it is. Because when you talk about the troubling times that we're having in Nigeria, you shouldn't also rule out the fact that some persons have also come, even the CDS the other day was of the opinion that we have some military personnel who are now paying allegiance to all these unscrupulous elements that we have in Nigeria who are being causing carnage in some places. And when the advisor to the governor on peace and security, Chris Kwaja, was talking about the governor's directive, the only thing that came into my mind is, okay, the same thing that people in Benue State complained about when a certain chairman of a local government was of the opinion that the military were given prior notice before the attack, that's claimed lives of Nigerians also happened. The same thing is what we're seeing now playing out also in Plateau State, where the military who are being stationed, who have these AORs now, are not really taking care of their area of their responsibility, according to what some persons were saying, that instead of them to rush or to come to the rescue of the people, that they were kind of quiet over this particular act. And if, for example, the people of Borno State could form a joint task force team, which Babagana Zulum actually sponsored, and in Plateau since 2010, we learned that they have the Operation Rainbow, also a squad that help out in fighting, the insurgents and also trying to make sure they broker peace between the farmers and the herders who have been having clashes all this while in that state. Then why is it that we're having difficulty in going for the state police? Let's assume that this military personnel, as you said, they are not, conversant with the terrain. That was why they couldn't move in to say they want to stop these people from coming. But you guys have been given information or intel before this particular attack. But they have their reasons why they couldn't go. So what then stopped us from going for the state police? Why go over to talk about forest guards? Why go to talk? Because these are the things that we can find a way to stop. IGP Ebetokone is of the opinion that we don't need a state police over the fact that it's unconstitutional. But how constitutional again is it that, some person that we have already, is taking us back and forth. But anyway, this is actually a directive from Muftuang. Let's see how it plays out.
Well, it's not a directive, it's a request from Muftuang. But I wonder how far he can travel in this direction, because as a state governor, he doesn't have the directive, to tell the chief of the National Security Advisor, the chief of army staff, or even the brigade commander of any of the military formations within his locality, way to deploy security forces and all of that. Yeah, in fact, he is hamstrung. Unfortunately, I'm not sure that Nigerians are really interested in dealing with the issues of insecurity. I say that in the light of the fact that the victims themselves have actually become the problems. And I keep asking these questions. If you go to the Middle Belt, Benue Plateau, Kogi, Nasarawa, they have, at a point in the history of Nigerian military, had the highest number of officer corps within the army. So what happened to that cream? You talk about people like Danjuma, you talk about people like Jang, you talk about people like former chief of army staff, what's his name again? Jerry Hussein, I think that one is passed, and a lot of them. So why is it difficult for them to come together and develop a strategy with which they can fight this? Unfortunately, the governor is also making a mistake of saying that, look, they want the mobile police squad. Who controls the mobile police squad? That is the question. Who controls the military? Unfortunately, again, the victims know where the problem is, but they don't know how to tackle that problem. The military has not failed. The military is simply complicit, because these problems happen within earshots of military formations, even in kidnapping. Go to my state. At a point, there was this axis that had become a kidnapping axis. And unfortunately, we had military checkpoints 500 meters away. At a point, we discovered that there was collaboration between the kidnappers and the soldiers. So who failed? It is not that the military has failed. The military has simply been a collaborator, and they are not even interested in solving the problem. I'm talking about the people on top. So the moment we begin to paper over all of these things and not hit the problem at the nail, at the head where it is, then we'll keep running around the circle show, which is more like it. The other day, 27 people killed. In Plateau State, the other day, over 200 people killed. And we are here discussing it. I'm just tired of all of this. Like I said, the problem is both the victims and the government in particular. The government is not interested in solving this problem. I'm afraid, I'm sorry to say this. If you talk about political will, this current government doesn't have the political will to solve this problem. You know, so it's quite unfortunate that we are at this level. Well, who knows who will be killed again in either Benue Plateau, in a Boeing state, in some parts of South, and in some parts of North Central, and all of these things keep going on, and we are talking and talking and talking. You talked about state police. The governors themselves are not even interested in state police because when they had a chance to talk about it, they didn't. They bailed out of it. They put it in number 8 of the agenda.
They went for that to say they've accepted it now, you know, and that was when the issue of the IGP making it or saying that it's unconstitutional. Apart from the Nigerian police force being the only one.
I think, I'm sorry to say, the IGP spoke from a point of ignorance, because if it is unconstitutional, why can't we go to the constitutional
and amend it?
It's as simple as that.
Oh well.
Anyway, let's move away from. You have something to say. Let's move away from that because it's a lot. Insecurity is a lot in this country. Now let's get into another interesting trending story, because Muhammad Babangida, son of former military president Ibrahim Babangida, has officially accepted his appointment as chairman of the board of Bank of Agriculture (BOA). Well, his appointment made by President Bola Tinubu on July 18th was confirmed in a statement on Monday, where he expressed appreciation and pledged commitment to the role. The statement also debunked reports claiming he had rejected the position, describing them as false and misleading. Well, the presidency warned that those behind the misinformation will be investigated, noting that the appointment is a part of efforts to strengthen leadership in key government institutions. I like that language, strengthen leadership in key government institutions. The president made 8 appointments last week, and out of those 8 appointments, 7 of them went to the north and 1 to the southwest. Southeast, south were clearly left out. Not a problem. We are used to it. It's become our new norm. But talking about Babangida, I think what the president is trying to do is to cut into the heart of the north. You know, because a section of the north, the elites in the north have been crying, you know, that the president has ignored them. The CPC bloc, you know, that belongs to President Muhammadu Buhari in APC have been crying foul. We've been ignored in the past 2 years and all of that. So I think the president is trying to make amends this time, you know, by taking appointments to the north. That's clearly what it is. Talking about Babangida's son accepting it. I read it. I read that what is it, a circular too, or the rejection letter, and I was like, what's going on? And only a few hours again, they came to deny. But something tells me that the first rejection was actually authentic. Something tells me, because there is no difference between the letterhead, the signature, and everything. I've gone through it. But a certain level of pressure might have been mounted on him.
Yes,
that's what I think.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
And that's the insinuation out there. That's what a lot of people are also, you know, saying under their breath, because the letter stayed. It trended for hours. It trended for like 2 or 3 hours. Yes. And you know, before the letter, before yesterday, right after the appointment, we heard some northern elites say that his appointment is too late in coming.
Yes.
You know, that the president is trying to some sort of hoodwink the North, trying to deceive them. You know, but eventually he came out to debunk that as false, and it's laughable that the presidency is saying that those that put that out will be investigated. Yeah, it's laughable. We've seen false information put out and nothing is done about it. But it works. It works in favor of the Tinubu administration that he did not reject that appointment, because that would have put a stain on the administration, especially as we work towards 2027. Yes. The president making way into the heart of the North and getting their support for 2027. If one as highly placed as the son of Babangida rejects an appointment, then it will speak volume as to acceptance of the Tinubu administration. So yes, like you said, I had that same, I felt that same way, that he might have been authentic, and maybe some people prevailed upon him to accept at least for the optics.
Yes, for the
accept, and maybe later he might step aside or something. But yes, it's good for the Tinubu administration that he did accept openly. So we wish the president the best of luck.
For me,
at this time.
all I could say, or rather to this particular story, is the fact that if you ask me, I will ask, what's the GMD of Bank of Agriculture compared to the portfolio of Muhammad Ibrahim?
Well, the bottom line is he's well qualified for that.
Yeah, he
position.
is.
Yes,
he is
he's
more
well
than
schooled.
qualified.
Yes.
He is more than qualified for that particular job. You know, the same thing I said when Bianca Odumego Ojukwu.
I don't think it's about portfolio. It's about national assignment.
I don't think that actually should be the thing, because I don't see the reason people will reserve their best. You bench your best, and then you push out the people who should not even make it to the first squad to be there, just for you to run back again to the best to say, okay, come up, we are here. Recall what I'm saying that is this. If, for example, Muhammadu Babangida actually is someone that, you know, like you rightly pointed out, the portfolio is arranged, he's good when he gets the banking and every other thing, why is it that it has to take the president this far for him to be recognized to say, come and help out with this? That is one point. And on the other point again is that when people are happy over the fact that he accepted this particular position to be the GM of Bank of Agriculture, I can't stop but just to laugh, because
better late than never.
If you check it out, you find out that
on
BOA...
your first point, I think they always say that there is no wrong time to do the right thing.
Continue. That is your
number one. Number two, do you know, we are talking about the Bank of Agriculture, and we are trying to revive agriculture. If he happens to be one of our best because of his educational background, I mean, the Bank of Agriculture we're trying to revive agriculture to make it the mainstay of Nigeria's economy. That is what we used to be before.
And Additional, before he became the boss of the African Development Bank, did wonderfully well when he was there in the agricultural sector. He did something good for Nigerians.
So how about continuity?
Now the thing is this, all those things that Additional laid as a foundation, how far have we carried this as a nation? Bank of Agriculture, when farmers are not even in the farm, to start with. Bank of Agriculture, you're putting someone who we know is a wonderful soul, actually, because he understands that.
Nobody says he's wonderful. He's well schooled.
The thing is this.
He's well schooled. That is the thing.
He's well schooled, and also the part
for that whole.
The part that he actually played in the bank, from Unity Bank and every other bank that he's actually managed, all this who actually shows.
Well, I think we should just wait to see what he comes up with at the end of the day.
Yeah, we have to wait. We have to wait for that to happen. But all the same, that does not mean that the North actually will be happy because of the fact that he is.
No, we don't know. We don't know.
No, nobody is saying that the North is happy.
But
the North has already said that they are not happy. You know, the way this administration has treated them, and that these appointments are too late in coming.
Yes.
I was expecting to hear that the issue of the insecurity happening in the North actually is, I have already, like this.
That is where I agree with you.
And I was also thinking that, you know,
if as we are looking to revive agriculture, we should to ensure that farmers are able to go back to the farms. That's the basic thing.
Away from that, still talking about false stories and false information, the West African Examination Council (WAEC) has refuted claims that the 2025 West African Secondary School Certificate Examination for school candidates were cancelled, describing the report as false and misleading. In a statement issued on its official social media platform, the council warned the public against spreading panic through unverified information. WAEC confirmed that marking of script has been completed and results are scheduled for release on or before August 4, 2025. It urged candidates and stakeholders to rely solely on official communication channels for accurate update. And these results are being marked, or rather, the results that we're expecting to get on the 4th of September. Does also include the one that school children were seen writing their exams in the night with lanterns and with torchlights and every other thing? Does it also include the ones that we believe that some persons actually were being disenfranchised by participating in the exam because of the fact that the environment where they were being kept to write the exam was not that conducive? Does it also include the one that, we learned according to them that the paper, the examination paper has got leaked and they had to go back again to set another question for it to be written? When people actually are talking about how some of these things affect Nigerians, especially young ones who are willing to go to school, the people that happens to be at the helm of affairs tend to think that we're trying to politicize it. If school children are being made to write exams, in a place where there's no proper, electricity to start with, because some schools that we saw, the pictures that we saw, the videos that we saw that made it to the social media actually shows that in some quarters, in some states, in some places, the examination booklets or sheets actually come in late, and children or school children actually are being made to sit back to write the exams. Even some of them that have another exam to write the following day were being kept in the school to write exams into the late hours. But anyway, we're waiting to see the result that'll be out by September, August 4, 2025. That's all I can say.
Well, I think the bigger problem here is the fact that some people take advantage, put out fake news, and nothing is done. Well, this, of course, came out as fake news. It's not the first time that fake news is being peddled, and it's the onus is on government agencies, and governments in general to ensure that perpetrators are arrested and reprimanded, as that will limit it. I mean, in this era of internet, it's difficult to say you want to put a stop to it, but also it's up to Hijack to put more measures in place so that when information is pushed out, it's verified. We know that it's coming from the website of Hijack, and people can trust it. Because if this can happen now, it can happen tomorrow, it can happen another time. But of course, like I said, we should be wary of where we get our news from, as a lot of people are out there pushing out fake narrative, and this might mislead people. All right? Well, that's my take.
Well, I think the important thing is that the news has been debunked. Hijack has not been cancelled. The scripts are already been marked. But I'm more worried about what Fina raised, the issue of how the Hijack panned out, how it was written. There were hiccups here and there, even during the NECO. There were public holidays that came in between and all of that. I think the institutions of government should be able to manage all of this, so that seamlessly, so that we don't get into problems with this kind of information. Because a lot of people believed it when they saw it, given the fact that, look, the circumstances under which the exams were written were, in fact, not very palatable. But like I said, it's good that the misinformation has actually been debunked. And so we expect to have the results as quickly as possible so that we know how our children performed during the exams.
All right, and that's how far we can go, talking about the trending stories that kept the social media buzz. And we'll go on a quick break. And when we come back, we'll x-ray the front pages of the national dailies to stay with us. We're glad to have you back. It's still VOP this morning, and it's time for us to take a quick peek on the cover page of the national dailies. We have the Guardian newspaper, the New Telegraph, the First News, the Vanguard, Daily Trust, Punch, and a whole lot more. And I would like to start off from the Guardian newspaper this morning. Beneath the masthead, Shettima laments depletion of 90% forest cover. 2027, PDP declares Tinubu bad product, convenes IOI's NEC meeting. I'll take that again for clarity purposes, please. 2027, PDP declares Tinubu bad product, convenes 101 NEC meeting. Awujale's burial, there will be grave repercussions, says Ogun traditional chief. The banner headline reads, electricity tariff imbalance triggers new subsidy inefficiency debates. That's on page 6. IGP pleds reform as retired officers protest poor pension under contributory scheme. Confusion in LP as Dati walks tightrope amidst factions, coalition moves. Falana Sani folds Kemi Badenoch over citizenship claim. Nigerians' GDP hits 373 trillion naira, remains fourth biggest in Africa after rebasing. States FCT's unutilized 250 billion naira education grants worry UBEC. The bottom strip headline: court orders for forfeiture of 2,222 and $729 recovered from Chinese nationals. These are the stories you'll find on the cover page of the Guardian newspaper today.
All right then. Okay. Well, let's go to another daily then. First News newspaper has these headlines: FG secures 730 terror convictions, targets exit from FATF grey list. We also have Emir Sanusi to chiefs: beat your wives, forfeit your titles. Interesting headline. Victor Osimhen set for Galatasaray medical in €75 million blockbuster deal. He got a good deal, I must say. Court denies Yahaya Bello's travel request, cites unsigned medical report. Edo police arrest 200 in major crime, cultism, kidnap offensive. Chinese cyber syndicate loses $222,000 in USDT to federal government. We also have a bold headline there that speaks to the protest, the police protest that took place yesterday in some parts of Nigeria, and the FCT, of course. Nigeria's GDP rebased to 205 trillion naira, up 41% from 2014. FG bows to pressure, suspends controversial doctors' pay circular. Reps to probe refineries after Dangote's sale fears. Well, those are the headlines.
Now, let's quickly run through This Day newspaper. This day, Arise media groups respond to harassment and attack on free speech, press freedom by First Holdco PLC. That's a press statement from This Day newspaper. NNPC recorded 905 billion naira profit in June. Federation remittances hit 6.96 trillion naira in 5 months. And, more stories. Abdul Samad Rabiu predicts improved stability in foreign exchange amid 92 billion naira loss. Now, the big story. Federal government's debt to GENCOs hits 1.2 trillion naira in H1. Total arrears exceed 5 trillion naira. Generation companies kick over new subsidies to EERC. After rebasing, NBS puts nominal GDP at $243 billion in 2024. Economy grew by 3.13% in Q1 2025. Oil contributed 3.97%. Non-oil 96.03%. That's interesting. Oil production increased to 1.62 million barrels per day. Now there's a pictorial there, Nigeria Forest Economic Summit. And that's all from This Day newspaper.
All right, the Daily Independent is up next, and the window headline reads: Why patriotic Nigerians will support Tinubu in 2027 by PDP. Lassa fever. NCDC confirms 151 deaths as fatality rate soars. The banner headline: New tax reform acts may kill aviation sector. That's coming from operators. And the writer to that says act will lead to job losses. Nigeria drifting towards implosion, says Akintoye. Nigeria's forest resources holds over $2 billion potentials, Shetima. GENCOs rejects tariff court by Enugu power regulator, the Daily Independent newspaper. And we have the major pictorial, which actually comes from the police, the retired police personnel protesting a whole lot of things, especially their pensions. And beside that, rebasing. Service industry drives GDP growth by 3.13% in Q1 2025. IBB Son denies rejecting Tinubu's appointment. Another bold headline on the cover page of the Daily Independent newspaper today is insurance. Industry revenue drops 51% amid weak demand and policy delays. The bottom strip headline: experts push for national scale-up of gynecological skills training. Those are the headlines you find on the cover page of the Daily Independent newspaper today.
And that's how far we can go with newspaper headlines. We now get into one of our major conversations. Atiku'S agenda will be looking elsewhere as ADC rejects hijack plot accusation. Oh well, let's talk about this when we come back. Join us again. Good morning. It's the start of a beautiful day. Well, start your day right with a healthy dose of news, fun, and inspiration. Join us on VOP this morning for the latest news, trending topics, and uplifting stories to set your day on the right vibe. From news and current events to lifestyle and entertainment, you are covered.
VOP this morning, 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. Years ago, we lit the spark. Today, we are blazing the trail for others to follow. VOP Media is 3. 3 years of breaking boundaries. 3 years of being that bold voice that echoes the thoughts of the people. 3 years of telling stories that matter.
We have experienced complete breakdown in democratic governance.
We are not just a brand, we are a movement, giving voice to the voiceless.
We go to bed empty hunger.
To every viewer, every voice, and everyone that has made us who we are, we say thank you. VOP Media, 3 years and still counting. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Thank you so much for staying with us. It's still VOP this morning. Former ADC presidential candidate Dumebi Kachukwu has claimed that Labour Party's Peter Obi has come to realize that the opposition coalition was primarily designed to advance the presidential ambition of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. According to Kachukwu, Obi is now exploring other options after discovering that the coalition lacked sincerity and served as a vehicle for Atiku'S personal interest. He warned that the alliance is beginning to unravel due to Atiku'S alleged attempts to hijack the process and structure for his 2027 bid. Kachukwu also accused Atiku'S allies of offering 20 million naira to some ADC state chairmen to resign their position in order to pave the way for a pro-Atiku leadership ahead of the party's convention. He criticized Atiku'S history of allegedly undermining Southern-led administrations and challenged him to publicly support a Southern presidency for the next 6 years, emphasizing that the ADC is not for sale. Kachukwu reiterated the party's commitment to fresh leadership and its refusal to be exploited by veteran politicians. We have with us in the studio Prince Francis Chilakai, political and public affairs analyst. And then joining us from our Oka station is Engineer Fimba Ajego, who happens to be chairman, Safety Engineers, Anambra State, and also member, Nigeria Society of Engineers, member, Anambra State Anti-Corruption Strategy and Public Affairs Analyst. Thank you so much, Engineer Fimba, for being part of today's show. Good morning. Good to have you join today's conversation.
I'm pleased to be here.
All right. Good morning, Prince Francis Chilaka. Good to have you join today's conversation. Now, let me start off with you, Prince Francis. You know, today, I think it was last week also that Kachiko also come up with that revelation of saying that some persons were bribing, ADC state chairman so that they will no longer be the chairman, so that someone else will hijack the whole process and order. What do you have to say about this revelation that he made, given the fact that he's of the opinion that Peter Obi now is exploring other option, having seen that the whole movement is just for a way to be paved for the former Vice President Atiku?
I'm disappointed at the utterances of Dumebi. I was expecting more of him, but you can't just. Dumebi has turned into one of these political jobbers seeking for media attention. If you feel deep down first to start with, that people are being bribed in your party to give up their position, mention their names. That's integrity. That's transparency. That's accountability. Mention names. Don't begin to talk like these same old politicians you are fighting. I remember those days, Richards will tell you, if I say what I want to say, if I speak, this country will boil. The country has not boiled, and yet he has not spoken. So if Dumebi believes deep down that the ADC is all-purpose vehicle for Atiku, put the facts. Let us see. Don't forget, Atiku is not the only one in that coalition. And the good thing about the coalition is that it's not saying parties came together. Individuals with different ideologies, with their own structures, are the ones who are coming together. So, and I don't think, deep down, I don't believe when people say, oh, it's for Atiku. No. You need to listen to the people who are really involved to get the information, and not hearsays. Everybody understands how bitter Dumebi feels, and all of that. He's the one that told us, oh, for 18 months, they've been talking about the coalition. If you are a member of a party, and you're a strong member of the party, and they have been discussing a coalition in 18 months, and you say you were not involved, then you're not a member of that party.
Doesn't it seem like the ADC was hijacked? The manner in which the coalition, came into the party and the entire ESCO vacated their seat for the coalition to take over as interim, take over the leadership interimly in the party. Doesn't that seem like some sort of hijack?
There was no hijack.
Now,
who owns the party? No.
Dumebi Kachiko, excuse me, please. Dumebi Kachiko is not the only one that has spoken out. Another representative of the party, Leke Abejide, has also spoken out, and he's also complaining about the same thing.
Okay. If you look at the party structure, you have the National Working Committee. And the National Working Committee usually is led by the chairman. Now, Ralph Wosu is the only person people know when you talk about ADC.
Whose tenure allegedly has expired.
By what law?
But the case is in court anyway.
By what law? Abure's case is in court.
Yeah.
Apapa's case is in court. Nenad Usman's case is in court. You bring it to the same PDP. Damago's case is in court. Everybody's in court because everybody wants to be a chairman of a party. So you need to look at the constitution of the party. The party was put together by one man, and he invited people to come and eat. How does it feel you invite people to come and eat and they're now the ones feeding you? It doesn't work that way. And I believe that the caliber of persons that have come to form a coalition with ADC are not babies. They are not greyhounds when it comes to politics.
Do you see the ticket, the presidential ticket of the ADC in 2027 going to the south?
Obviously.
Southeast?
Obviously.
With the likes of Atiku Abubakar being there. You know fully well that as a former vice president, you still have this particular right of.
It's not a right.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is that everybody that is coming together, they want to remove the APC government. But there are people already singing a different tone within the coalition. And most of them are now beginning to look at things from the, perspective of P2B. It's not just about taking power from APC.
Okay.
It's about taking power and being able to do something differently.
Which is winning the election.
You listen to Tambua. You listen to him. You will understand that a lot of people are beginning to think out of the box, just like P2B.
Okay. All right, Prince. You said something in your opening intervention that Dumebi has more like become one of the political jobbers of politicians of old. That he should have mentioned the names, if he was credible enough. We also recall that Atiku also made an allegation sometime that the government was paying some people in some parties, to cause problem within their parties. He said 60 million naira a piece or all of that. And he didn't also give her the names of those people. So, like you said, Dumebi is now acting like politicians of old. But my question is this. Dumebi said something, in his one of his press conferences. He says, look, they accuse me that, look, I'm on the payroll of the president. Well, I am not. But in any case, if the president wants me to work for him, I will be honored to do that. So how does it look like? Because there are some people that are saying that, look, Dumebi is now being used by the ruling party, the APC, to destabilize the coalition. Does it look like that?
It will be very, very shameful if Dumebi will go that route. Dumebi is still a very young man, building a political career. We all know how he got the ticket of ADC as the presidential flag bearer. So for me, I would have said to Dumebi, because you think you're now popular, you're already in the, go and try and contest for governorship of Delta State. Let us see.
So in all of these things that he's doing, do you think he's negotiating?
Well, you can't rule that out. That's what politics is all about.
Okay.
He is trying to also look for a soft landing for himself.
Okay, so you also don't think that he's working for the president?
Well, with the kind of president you have, it's difficult to know who's not working for him right now. After all, you saw Abure the other day going to meet with Wike. What would they be discussing? Maybe Abure went to seek for land.
You never know.
Maybe that's what he went for.
You never know.
But then, if Abure, knowing the fact that already there is a crack in Labour Party, and everybody's pointing fingers at the ruling party, and he's going to meet with somebody like Wike, didn't they think it wise to carry other people with him?
Oh, well.
The snake seen by one man. I mean, the lizard seen by one man is always said to be a python.
All right, then let's bring our Orca guest into the conversation, Engineer Fimba Ajebu. Good morning once again. Welcome to the conversation. Now, let's have your view on what we're talking about. And also, I would like you to add this to your reaction. The fact that cases are in court. Our guest did point to the fact that a lot of these parties have cases, but the focus now is the coalition and the ADC with the viability of the chairmanship of the party in court. It's still being debated. How does this play out for those that have chosen the ADC and those that will emerge and run under the flag of the ADC if the ruling comes out maybe before or just after elections and it nullifies them? How does this whole nullifies the chairmanship of Wosu? How does this play out? Well, you might need to, you seem to have muted yourself. You might need to unmute.
Okay. Yeah, what is happening currently is a very, it's not out of place because they're knowing that a country like Nigeria, there are times you have a election, you call it tsunami, when people begin to jump from one party to the other, and at the same time some jump from jump to form coalitions so that they can better achieve their selfish interests. What is going on currently right now, in my own opinion, I think it's normal. It's only that it's something which very unique persons amongst those who are forming coalition has to look deeply into, and then be able to sieve out and understand where the message is. People like Atiku, whom we've known over the years, he has been jumping ships, and his objective is basically to come out tops, whichever means, even corruption is not out of place if it involves corrupting all the delegates. So all those other members who are also in the coalition, who wants to form sincerely a coalition that is genuine and germane, that will look into the services, the best services for Nigerians. I think those persons who are in those coalitions should form a solid stand and ensure that the objective of the party formation, the forming of the coalition, which is to bring the best candidate, not just somebody who can pay the highest bidder or whatever. It's to get the best candidate who will sincerely serve Nigerians. So I think most of them should stand out and begin to identify themselves. If that cannot play out, I'm sorry, the coalition will not be fruitful.
Some persons were saying that Peter Gregory, who happens to be your kingsman at this point in time, is looking elsewhere. If he sees it looks like the party or the coalition is not really going to work in his favor, how do you think this will turn out or pan out for him as a politician? Is it going to go back to LP? Remember that the likes of Bure, come up to say that he's been suspended from the party for anti-party activities. Where do you think he'll be looking at this point in time? And PDP, who happens to be the former party he left for LP, it's through Abdullahi at this point in time, is saying that he's the biggest asset.
Yes, frankly, Peter Obi is a very intelligent man, and I believe he has a very good set of or college of advisors. He wouldn't want to be dabbling into anything that will stain or dent his profile at this stage, because he has attained the highest office. Even if the elections of the last election did not determine it, we majority of Nigerians know fully well that Peter Obi won that last election. However it is, and at this point in time, he definitely will not be looking to a coalition that will give anything less of him. Imagine, even not just him, majority of Nigerians who are out there have seen that Peter Obi is the standard, regardless of wherever tribe they are from, regardless of him being my kinsman. Sincerely, to be very objective, his kind of standards are standards that Nigeria has never seen before, and it cuts across the geopolitical zones of this great country of ours, that someone like Peter Obi coming from the east will have emerged. And it was unbelievable that this is happening at this time. So all we're very optimistic of having is that at this point in time, Peter Obi should really look deeply and listen to a very good set of advisors and not fall for that what I would call a trap, an intended trap, such that he will get into involving himself into with all these other guys, and then they will have him stained.
Engineer Fimba, how viable is Peter Obi when the likes of the governor of Anambra State made it open that he is supporting, or rather the people of Anambra is supporting the progressive at this point in time, knowing fully well also that Peter Obi, who happens to be the former governor of the state, has interest also in contesting for the presidential ticket in Nigeria. How viable is Peter Obi?
Obi is the most viable. I'm going to tell you between 1 to 100. Peter Obi is the most viable as much as 85-90%. I'm going to tell you my own opinion. Sincerely, every other person who perhaps have not had a chance of what we had in 2023 elections, certainly we cannot tell. But right now, as we speak, as that today, Peter Obi stands the better chance and is the most viable amongst the presidential candidates, presidential aspirants in the rest of any part of Nigeria. So I think he won't want to go anything less. And it's not just about him, because a good number of Nigerians, the learned Nigerians, even those who are in politics, a good number of them sincerely Nigeria. So a good number of them are looking out that Peter Obi, who is the most viable candidate, remains. The next election certainly is going to prove that.
You might need to. There are infiltrations in your audio is being compromised. Can you hear me, Engineer Fimba?
Yes, Okoro Chukwumoko, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, very well. There, you are coming out clearer. There was some kind of noise at the background. Now, let me stay with you. There is this discussion out there, there's this argument out there. A lot of people, or some people, let me not say a lot of people, some people are of the opinion that between Obi and Atiku, that they should try to find a common ground to be able to withstand the force that is called the APC. Clearly saying that neither, that both of them, none of them can go it all alone. That Atiku cannot outrightly win a Tinubu, and that Peter Obi cannot outrightly win a Tinubu if both of them don't merge. And in this merger, some people are suggesting that, look, Peter Obi, why don't you run as the vice presidential candidate with Atiku Abubakar? What's your take on that? What do you think the combination should be? What should be the combo, more like?
Okoro, Atiku, I would say he has done his part and he has done his bid. He should step aside. This is the turn of another.
All right, we seem to have a network issue there, as that seemed to have cut off our virtual guest, engineer Fimba Ajaybu. But let's bring it back to the studio while our engineers work to ensure that we reconnect to engineer Fimba. Prince Francis Chilaka, you said a few things the other time. Let me bring you back to, that conversation, that angle of the conversation. Peter Obi being, getting the presidential ticket of the ADC. Well, not too long ago, I think last week or thereabouts, we heard some conversation around Peter Obi leaving the ADC and a threat that if he leaves the ADC, it will be the end of his political career. We've also heard that Atiku is buying, the members of the party to his side one way or another, either through 20 million naira or, one way or another. He's getting people on his side. And we know Atiku has a way of winning the primaries in parties. He has a way of doing that. Now, we also know that with all of this, you still believe that Peter Obi will get the ticket?
Yes.
Okay. But we yesterday, Dati Baba Ahmed, who once ran with Peter Obi, said that, look, that he's in talks with the Abure faction of the Labour Party, and he vowed to resolve the issues within the Labour Party. Does it seem like Peter Obi might be going back to the Labour Party, seeing that he probably doesn't even have a place in the ADC?
No, the thing is, I think we're all making a big mistake about Peter Obi. Peter Obi has become more wiser and more clever, and Peter Obi has decided to play the Nigerian politics.
Do you know that? Sorry to interrupt you. Sorry, I just don't want this to slip. Do you know that officially he is not yet a member of the ADC? Officially,
Atiku is not yet a member of ADC.
No, Atiku is a member.
He is not.
He is
not. I'm telling you.
No,
Atiku is not.
He is a member.
Atiku has left PDP, but he has not become an official member of ADC.
Okay.
And also, that's the truth.
Okay. All right.
No problem. Most of the people that form this coalition have not officially joined ADC. That's the truth. And I don't know why
But Atiku has officially resigned from the PDP.
He has resigned.
And Peter Obi has not officially resigned from the LP.
Don't forget that people who came for this coalition are individuals.
Exactly.
See, whether we like it or not, our political system is evolving. We can set a new system, and people are, following that system.
So you believe there could be members of SDP and still run for elections under ADC?
Wike is in PDP
and run under ADC?
He is working for APC. Has he been sanctioned?
Yeah, he didn't contest elections, did he?
But the party PDP is in talk to do that. They say by end of the month.
Forget PDP right now does not even have the balls to kick out Wike.
But do you think Peter
when they had the balls
to PDP?
Was when they had the likes of Atiku still in the party. As it is today, who's going to kick Wike out from PDP? Is it Amagu?
They've set up a committee.
Who is going to be able to do that?
The National Working Committee.
It is the fact that PDP over a long period of time has not been able to discipline our members. That is why a lot of people are leaving the party.
But PDP is not the focus because
we also know that
some stakeholders in the PDP are saying a lot more people have joined the party since Atiku left.
Well, I haven't heard of any. Because maybe you have the information.
Oh, yes,
Put it
I
out.
do. Yes, I do.
Mention their names.
That's okay.
Don't speak like they're doing right now.
Let's stay with the ADC thing. Prince, I would like to ask you the question I asked Engineer Fimba.
Okay.
A lot of this argument, you are aware of this argument between Obi deputizing Atiku. What's your take on that?
That is the height of mediocrity.
Political pundit.
That is the height of
as a passionate.
Let me tell you. Let us come down to the nitty-gritties. Obi came from nowhere. Don't forget when Obi joined the presidential campaigns and became the candidate of Labour Party. It was a write-off. Nobody believed that Obi can get up to 1 million votes to start with. And then when people started talking about Obi, they said, oh, 3 people tweeting from a room. What will they do? But at the end of the day, how many votes did Obi get?
But let's not forget that before he came to run under LP, he once ran as a VP to Atiku.
That was when? 20 what?
He once did.
2019, isn't it?
That was 19 years, 2019.
So,
it's not about the time.
I think we need to give credence to Peter Obi.
Okay.
Let me tell you what is playing out.
Okay.
Peter Obi has his legs in the coalition.
Okay.
He has another leg in Labour Party. And he's watching. But there's something Peter Obi has
watching.
Yes, there's something he has that Atiku doesn't have.
Which is?
He has his obedience. All to himself. And the membership of the obedient is growing on a daily basis. See, the Nigerian people, the Nigerian voting youths, they want to change. They want to have a life.
What would happen? What would happen? Sorry.
Go ahead.
What would happen if the PDP, brings Obi back into his fold? Because the PDP also said they are trying to woo him back into the PDP. Like you said, he's still watching.
You can't rule out anything because this is politics.
Would you support
But the truth of the matter is that right now, Peter Obi is a bride being sought after by everyone.
Most definitely. But would you and the obedient movement support him going back?
Wherever Peter Obi goes, we go with him.
Okay, going to PDP now. What of the weaker factor in PDP? I'm happy you said that nobody can expel.
That is why I said to you,
okay,
as long as Wike has a hold in PDP, anybody going to PDP to contest is committing a political suicide.
Okay,
so
Prince,
you don't think that
there
will
is
go
something.
to PDP back?
Prince, there's something I would like for us to talk about briefly before we move on. The fact that you are saying that it's the highest level of mediocrity for somebody to say that Obi should deputize Atiku. Now, do you think that an Obi can win the election alone?
Okay. The reason why you have a coalition is because
against the Tinubu.
Is because let's be very honest with ourselves and the way things are. First and foremost, for us to have a semblance of a free and fair election, the electoral reform needs to come in place. 2, when you look at the kind of politics Bola Ahmed Tinubu plays, you will know that no single candidate can take him out.
Okay, so you understand that the reform of the Electoral Act
it's absolutely necessary.
It's absolutely necessary, but it could be a near impossibility in the next 2 years.
It will not be because people are already...
Okay, let's operate on the premise that the Electoral Act is not reformed. And it stays
that is why the coalition must come.
So talking about the coalition now, if there's a disagreement between Atiku and Obi about who gets the ADC ticket, so what happens if they can't agree?
Let me tell you this for free. If for any reason the coalition gives the ticket to Atiku, you will have a protest vote. I'm very serious with you. there will be a protest vote. Because we have, like I keep saying, we have an unconstitutional agreement amongst the political parties. And that agreement is that 8 years North, 8 years South. Buhari, late Buhari, may so rest in peace, has served 8 years for the North. And so the South is now entitled to another 8 years. Now, anything you would do to disrupt that 8 years will ensure a protest vote.
Prince, your position, your analysis leaves me with the impression that Obi is in a very difficult bind.
Obi is not.
Because he is not in the ADC fully. He is not completely in the